No. Haha. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Gaz Williams here, and welcome to the show, and welcome back. If you were watching Sonic Talk earlier, then welcome again. And if you haven't been listening to Sonic Talk, then you must, because it's I don't know. For me, it's the most. I'm really biased now, but I think it's the most relevant, irreverent music technology podcast, broadcast, whatever it is, out there, because I was a fan of it before I was on it. So I'm always thrilled to be part of that whole kind of thing. So anyway, welcome back if you were watching or listening to that earlier. And so tonight, what have we got in store? Right, let me get a bit more vocal there. Sorry, get my levels just sorted. Just so. Right, in front of me, Roland. Let's have a look. Roland MC-707. Yeah. Now, Nick and myself did a review of this on Sonic State recently, and we both really like it. There's an enormous drawback that the new update hasn't fixed, so I will still urge Roland, please lift the 62-second sample time limit. Oh, come on, you engineers are clever. You've got an SD card in there. There must be a way. However, I'm not going to carp on any longer, because the good news is the 707, the MC-707 Groove Box, or Infinity Box, as I prefer to call it, has had a significant update in the 1.6 version. And I say significant because, well, I mean, it brings an arpeggiator, which everybody, surely it should have been there from the start. It wasn't. It is in there now. But I feel it could be implemented a bit deeper, the arpeggiator. It's really good and gives you plenty of options. We'll have a look at it in a moment. But it's the one arpeggiator, and whatever track you go, that arpeggiator will be running. You can't have separate arpeggiator settings for each track yet. I mean, okay, look, that's cool. But that's in kind of sort of comparison to this, the Novation SL Mark III. That 1.4 update brought in arpeggiators for all 8 of its sequencer tracks. So, so cool that these things are like kind of, they're kind of sparring off each other. And I think it's good. And I think it makes for an exciting, evolving music technology world that we inhabit. And something that I often say is, thank goodness for music technology. Thank goodness for us building unbelievable kind of worlds of sonic goodness that we can lose ourselves in, because, blimey, we need to do things that are good for our brains. And I'm sure that patching together and putting together big musical things, not for any purpose, not for any end result, not for releasing. I mean, all that stuff is bonus, and not knocking that, but the fact that it's like good for the brain. It's feeding, it's food, it's yes. So yes, if you play around with electronic music and well, any music really, it is any music. If you play with music, but electronic devices certainly is a sort of brain food and nourishment that you get from it that is very deep, very special, and don't ever take it away from us. Anyway, right, let's say, so 707, MC-707, why am I interested in it myself? I am interested in boxes that purport to be able to make complete music within them. I've always been interested in that right from the beginning. So the various things over the years that I've kind of gravitated to or think are as classics are often devices that kind of think big, try to expand on what is possible from a single unit. Of course, computers came along and then laptops, and that kind of spoiled all that in some respect. Well, it didn't. I mean, it made it even better, really. But my love of the all-in-one thing has kind of continued. And the 707, Roland did ducked out of the groovebox market. So the whole term groovebox, it is a bit icky, you know. Does sound a bit. I'm not sure. They can be so much more than making dance music. Groove boxes back in the day, I suppose, were geared very much around making dance music. I mean, you could make absolutely banging dance music on this. In fact, this is a brilliant dance music machine. So, as a groove box, yeah. But I think that limits it, though. The term limits it because you can use this in much more avant-garde and experimental ways. What I'm just starting to do on it, though, is trying to see if I can use it like a 4-track recorder for doing more like kind of folky sort of songs with, you know, that's the ultimate test. That is the thing, you know. Lots of people who've had 4 tracks will reminisce about this in similar ways, is that the, you know, if you'd have it like your little Tascam or Fostex or your Zooms, and this does apply as well to little digital ones. I'm going way back because I go way back. Having it on the bed, plugging it in, you know, and sort of just being on, pull up the quilt around you and just sort of record into a little microphone and into the little recorder, which is, there's a nostalgic thing about that, about having this little music making device. And of course, a phone with a microphone, there's just so many ways you can do it these days. It's kind of made those products in some respects obsolete, but I don't think so. I think there's a huge reason to have an all-in-one music making device. And the fact that this doesn't have YouTube and Facebook and Instagram built into it, you know, is a major plus from a music making point of view. The fact it's got that small screen, I have pondered about it now, and I realise that the influence of Electron on the design of this is huge, and that even goes down to the screen. So I think, you know, Electron have controversially used small screens, but their approach is all about a very minimal and interesting way of delivering the information. You know, when people adapt to that Electron way, which I know many of you have, and many of you hate as well, to be fair, the kind of resolution of the screen isn't important. It's trying to sort of say, this isn't important. This is just giving you the bare minimum, you know. I think this has kind of been influenced a little bit by that. I mean, this would be better if the screen was, you know, a third bigger and all. I don't know. I'm not knocking it. People are watching this because they want to know about the update. What am I talking about? Let's get to the good stuff. So yes, so this now has an arpeggiator. Right. Okay, let's get an arpeggiator. This is our stock sound. Okay. Turn an arpeggiator on. We go shift and note, and there it is. Okay, turn the arp on. And it's our kind of fairly standard one, really, but there are a few little tricks up its sleeve. Oh, hang on, turned it off. Here it is. Motif. So up and down, random, note order. Note order is great, you know, that's... Sorry, I'm using the basic sound here. Glissandos. Oh, that's a good one in there. Chords. Okay. Pretty cool. Variations and how many octaves. Now, the sound. This is the good stuff. The new feature that I think is the most interesting in the 707 is the random generator. So the random sound generator. If I come down on here in the menu, let me have a little look what we can see. Whoop. Sorry, this screen is really not that great on camera. I want to get away from that boring sound. Right, random. I select random. Now I get this little grid. I can choose an algorithm from this grid. Let's choose mono. So it's a totally randomly generated mono synth. Let's try another one. Oh, it's got a Fender Rhodes equality to it. The thing is, the depth of the Zen Core engine is enormous. It does take in such a lot of Roland's heritage in there. So this is a curious thing. Now, what's going on in this algorithm? How, you know, what parameters is it working with it? Who knows? I'm sure some people would like to hack it and work it out. But I'll just go through some sounds. Now, these are all just kind of pretty much dry. I think effects can be on them though. Yes, they can. Of course they can. But I think one of the things that's kind of cool is as soon as you hit on something that you like, the controls that you've got immediately at your disposal, there's very little. You've got 3 controls, but you can start to mess with the sound. Now what these controls are doing, you can define knob assign here. I could say, let's do cut off on the top, you know. But I can go back to my random generator now. Try different ones. Look at that. I mean, this is a bit quiet. I'll put them up a bit. Okay, so the gist of this, I mean, where's my, right, so I gotta unlatch my ARP. I think do I press, yeah, I have to come out of that menu. Wow. So there is a shortcut to turn the ARP off. Don't it feel like a relief now that ARP is gone? Note acts as a toggle so you can toggle the ARP off, but that was interesting. I had to come out of that to be able to turn it off. I think the point I was just trying to show you there, though, is that those random changes, they are hugely different. So really, it's kind of like leaping around the kind of synth engine and just kind of going, a bit of this, bit of this, bit of this, bit of this. There you go. Random, another, you know, and just presenting stuff to you. And I think that is pretty awesome. So let's have a look now at some of the other algorithms and see what they can do. Just checking on things. Hope everyone is well, and yeah, and thank you very much for tuning in. It's always a huge pleasure and a delight, and I need to keep up with the chat room, but it just moves like lightning. Thank you. I really do appreciate you coming and just having a good old conversation. It's just a delightful thing whilst I witter on about this stuff. And, you know, like in these crazy times, and we're all humans after all, and it is vital that we do stay in some form of communication. And yeah, so that makes it a massive pleasure for me to be able to do that. So thank you very much. I am, genuinely makes me very happy. Okay, so, right, let's have a look then. I was going to generate some new sounds. Let's go in there. Okay, random. Okay, so poly now. Let's have a look. It's got a real kind of grind to that. So if you do like it, you just hop straight out and you can jump then into the editor, and there you go. There you're in, and you've got the whole synth engine at your disposal. We were talking about this earlier on Sonic Talk, and talking about navigating this particular synth, and Nick Batt really actually quite likes it, and that is astonishing to me because he normally really detests that way of working, but he he's really taken with it, and with good reason too. Actually, you do kind of realise with the cursors you can jump around the synth engine, and I mean the partials synth way of editing a sound here. You know, and you can change that to easy, and when you're in easy, you can move around it the same, but you can have global modifiers and envelope stuff that affects all of the partials at the same time, or dive in for that macro adjustment across the 4 layers. And I really do think that Roland's particular heritage with developing digital synthesizers is really important in the kind of synth history side of things. And the D50 is essentially the I can't say the word. Skip that bit. Gave birth really to this. The D50, it's evolved, and there are elements in this synth engine that, well, it's kind of grown, and I'm sure loads of you will have experienced that. The JV series in the 1990s. They were really kind of incredibly popular synths. Actually, they're on countless recordings. They've been very unfashionable. In fact, getting JV modules is probably going to become something that starts to gain market value. I really do think so, because I think as the 80s starts to move to the 90s, people, in terms of retro, the 90s is starting to become more in focus as a what it created and who were the long-lived acts that have come from it. What was important, what was just kind of drivel. So I think that instruments from the 90s, certainly to like kind of someone who's like sort of 17, if they got themselves like a JV 1080, for instance, and got into it and actually, went into the synth engine, it's capable. That stuff is capable, I'm just having a quick look. Oh, God, this chat room goes too quick. Thank you. It's amazing. Right. Anyway, so I was saying about that sort of stuff. They're very reliable. They just used to work. And when we got into computers, once, I think it was, for me, Rebirth, and a load of other people I know, once we saw Rebirth, it was like, that's it. That's the way to do it. We've had enough of those. We've had enough of those little windows and those clicky clacky buttons. We want a mouse and a screen. It really is moments in time like that do define equipment. There was the mindset of, I think the M1 is the Korg M1 is the thing that really is kind of the main pusher of this, which is like the workstation idea, but this idea of more and more and more. So, the big, mainly Japanese, almost purely Japanese. I mean, Alesis were a part of that, to be fair. But competing with making keyboards with just more of this workstation stuff, which people really used to want until they saw kind of computers being just a much better editing paradigm for getting a lot of stuff done. And so I think to try and get people into the workstations, they keep adding more and more stuff into them. And then they just become really peculiar musical instruments in a way, because they're they're trying to fulfill a need that isn't actually born out of what musicians actually want. They learned this. Musicians wanted in a lot of cases just a piano, a Fender Rhodes, and a synthesizer with just a few functions, and that was it. So they started making keyboards which were more like that, and like the Roland VR combos and those kind of things, which put like an organ with a little synth part and basic piano kind of stuff. It's just curious, just thinking about all of this, because we can see with the passage of time, just well, I say we can see, there is a definite sort of lineage of music technology that is always changing and evolving. And when trip hop, I mean, it's horrible to use that term in a way, but I mean, well, it wasn't just that, but it was also, I'm thinking about in Britain, things like Mo Wax, that's James Lavelle's label, when they were putting stuff out in the very early 90s, 92, maybe 93, which is a lot of basically just simple downsampled breaks, really downsampled, and super minimal, like super minimal. That became like a kind of cutting edge. But making music like that with devices like this, in many ways, should be utter child's play. And I guess it kind of is kind of child's play, and it makes it really, really nice and easy to sample and chop up. But the sampling, the way it's gone now with sampling, and with kind of, well, all the legal cases and all the YouTube algorithms, the Facebook algorithms and stuff that just latches onto any pre-recorded, it's kind of trying to kill that music form, which, well, I'm sure many of you will have got tunes you really cherish that have just been, little bits of it have been chunked off it, and then those little bits become much more famous than the original tune. And it's, there are things like that, but fair enough to it though. But before all these restrictions were in place, people just didn't care at all. They would just do anything and put all these samples from anywhere without any care. So there's something about the beauty of that artistic mind to feel that you can do stuff like that. Now, the thing is, at home, you absolutely can take any copyright material and do whatever the hell you want with it at home, in the privacy of one's home. But I think people have probably backed off doing it for fear that the music that they make will get trampled on and pulled offline or whatever. I've talked about this before. I think if everybody ganged up, music producers and everyone just ganged up and just released a song that was just like maybe 10 seconds of loads of famous songs all stitched together, and let's say 10,000 music producers all released the song on the same day. It's just like, so it's you'd have to pack loads of songs. Actually, no, pack tons and tons of songs in, as many songs as you can. Just grab the biggest hooks. In fact, make it like a competition, just to make the most ludicrous hook-filled sample-a-thon of the most iconic and famous songs. And just like, and everyone's trying to outdo each other. I managed to get 760 recognizable riffs into my song. And then everyone releases it on the same day. And just like, the copyright algorithm can't compute, it's too much, there's too many things. Boom! And it just all blows up, and then sort of just, and then we're all like, ah. Yeah. 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 Right. Getting back on topic. MC-707. Yeah. So one of the super cool things, and actually bang on what I was just talking about, is on the on my iPad here, or I can maybe angle. Oh yeah, I think I can do that, so you can kind of see what's going on. That's acting as a actually, it is acting as a wireless controller for the Eventide. But I'm just going to come out of that for now, and I'm going to go into AUM, and this on an iPad. This is an old iPad Air. It's the old one. This is the one. This is the old lady. This is the one from Sonic Touch, and it's still going. It's still going. It's kind of going strong, actually. Yeah, it's good. I have got the MC-707 midied up via the chunky glag nut there into the iPad. So I've loaded in a VCS3 because we were talking about them today. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just proof of concept. It works. Hooray. There is something to know, though. To make this work, that's basically the new update allows class-compliant drivers. So I'm using the iPad MIDI and audio over USB. So that's great. And I mean, class-compliant has got loads of extra super juicy uses, more gear that's coming out that's class, that can use class-compliant stuff. I've been wanting it for years, but there is a drawback when you use the MC-707 with your computer, is that if you use the class-compliant driver, you lose all of the outputs. Apart from it just becomes a stereo in, stereo out device. When I might be wrong about this, I may be wrong about this, so someone can correct me. But this is what it appeared earlier. But if you are using Roland's driver on the computer, then you get access to, I think, something like 20 outputs or something. But it's lots of outputs. So you can do whatever you build on the 707. You can set up your DAW, arm up however many tracks, and play them in. And I think with the driver, that allows for lots of the stuff with the inputs on the back of here. As I think you can maybe have 6 audio inputs, so it's pretty capable audio interface, really, the 707. But now it's got this toggleable feature. You have to go into the menu, and is it a thrill enough to do it? Yes, let's go. So we're going to go into the global. So into the settings, and then into the control tab, and then you have to come pretty low down here. USB driver generic. It's on at the moment. If I wanted to put it to the vendor, it says vendor, then it needs a reboot. So we'll leave it on generic. But yeah, so you'd have to turn it on. You'd have to just power cycle it. But the advantages are pretty cool, though. I mean, it does mean you can just call up YouTube. I mean, assuming this is YouTube playing, and it's coming in, and you can record it, you can sample it, you can put it into the sort of looper that's in there. That's 62 seconds. This thing is good. This thing is very good. That drawback drives me crazy. Anyway, I'm generating sounds. That's what I'm doing. Let's go and generate some more sounds with that new function, because it's cool. It's the 707 steep learning. Yeah. Yeah, I would say I would say middling. I'd say that there's a lot of depth to it. It's a very cool thing, highly influenced by Electron. So there is certain electronisms about it, which is great, which is adding complexity to what you can do. And it is kind of geared around performance as well. And I'm going to do a little performance in a moment, but, well, let me explain what I was going to do. I thought it might be nice. It's a hell of a risk, this is now. I'm going to set up 5 channels on here. I'm saying 5 because it'll match the zones that I'll have on here. And I'm going to generate a random sound in each one of these tracks. And then I'm not going to touch them or apply any effects to them. I'm going to try and see if I can make something nice. Because I doubt this. I think this is going to probably, we'll probably file it under Nightmare Ambience again. But the reason for doing this is it'll be quite fun just to see what kind of random stuff happens. Now, in that random engine, there are a bunch of drum sounds. Drums, kick, snare, cymbal, cowbell, and one called drum. So I guess that's going to be all sorts of toms and stuff. Okay. I was going to say, I think I'll just work with, I'll set up 3 monos. There we go. I'll have the 4. I'll have the 5: poly, mono, pad, mod, and analog. Those will be my tracks. And then maybe we'll add some drums and stuff to it afterwards. We'll see how we go. But it's likely to be really horrible because I'm. Well, let's build it first, and then we could then toggle through the different sort of random generations until we find one that kind of sounds kind of good. Right. Okay. Let's go. Tempo. We're gonna go slow. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run it from the SL. So the SL is gonna be my kind of main kind of clock. When I press play and stop, the 707 is following that. So got the leader and the follower in 2020 parlance. Yeah, leader, follower. In that way round. Right then. Okay, right. Whoa. And in the interest of transparency, we're going to go project new. We're going to start from scratch. Don't write, clear it. Let's see, shall we do this screen? I'll do this one, I think. Yeah, this one. All right. So I keep knocking that stand to make the camera wobble. Right. Just getting my mind together. Yeah, I need to delete my tracks. So I'm going to delete this first track. Well, yeah, these are all going to be tone tracks, you see, for this random thing. Okay, so now I'll set them up, but I'm not going to listen to them. Once they're all set up, then I'll put this on. Have I got an angle that you can see this keyboard? I think I might have missed that angle, I'm afraid. Okay, but on this keyboard, there's regions, they're lit up with LEDs, and I've got 5 regions. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to set up the sounds, and then I'm going to play them from whatever's in the region that I can play. So I've got access to all the sounds simultaneously. Is this fun? I don't know. For me, it's a lot of fun. I think it might be I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, it could be really amazing sounds, or they could be really, really awful sounds. So this is the dilemma, really. Okay, so we need a tone track now. Random. Here we go. Right. Gonna build myself up for this now. Right. Track 1. I'm gonna go. I'll just go across like this. So my track 1 is going to be a poly track. Okay. Oh no. Well, I'm low, so I'm going to go bass. So I'll say track 1, mono. Yeah, mono. Or I've got a mono as analog mono. I'm going to go with mono because I want it to have the full range of possibilities rather than just limit it to the virtual analog part of it. Okay, enter. Right, so there we go. That's done. Next, we will have in channel 2, we're going to have I'll have another tone. Give us another tone. Yeah, let's do that. And then in track 3, I just have to create these tracks, actually. There we go. Track 5 I need. Yeah, okay. Cool. All right, so random. Okay, so in track 1, we've done a poly. I might be wrong about this now. I don't know if you go to another track. Who knows? I just realized. Let's just do it. We'll see. It may be that the random tone designer if I've moved from it without, I've gone to a different track without confirming it, it may have just reset. So right. I'm going to have to do this, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to figure out if that actually is the case or not. I should have done this in my research, really. Oh no, I'll go to the end and then I can have egg on my face. Okay, so I'm going to my next track and I'm going to go to a pad now. So track 4 is a pad. Okay, cool. And then track 5 is a mod. Right, so fingers crossed those sounds have all been set and that they're not all the default sound. Okay. Right then, got to try and do something, try and turn this into something now. Right, so we're going to listen to the sounds. So we got... Whoa! That's got some... Okay. So that was not what I was expecting. Okay. Okay, so we got another... Ooh, okay. So it's like a monophonic synth there with... Oof. Try and make these work together. Now, in 3, we got... That's the default. Okay. Ooh. Oof, I don't know about this. Okay, we've got to work with it. That's the rules. I think I'm allowed to go to track 3 though, and change that one. And then in track 5. That's what we got. That's what we got. Okay. Right. Right. Track 3. What shall it be? So I've got poly, mono, pad. Yes. Here we go. Something up with the distortion on this tonight. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So what I'm going to do to make life a tiny bit easier for myself is I'm going to turn scales on. And now when I'm in scale, I can't, all notes will be kind of, will be pitch corrected into the scale. And that's going to help, I think, in this case a little bit, because I'm going to make the scale. Let's make it like a simple one. You see, like just pentatonic minor. No, it's a bit too boring. Blues. Bebop Dorian. Bebop Dorian. Bebop Dorian. Yeah. Bebop Dorian. So Dorian is nice, but what's the Dorian it gives? Well, we've got an extra flat, haven't we, I think. Okay. Oh, these sounds. Okay. This is my own doing. This is my own doing. Okay. Now that thing is kind of maybe got to be quite sparse with that or not. Yikes. Am I allowed to change my octave? I think that's fair. I think I'm allowed to change my. Of course I am. I'm making up my own rules. Oof. Wowza. Okay, so it does do some things to the modulation. Am I allowed to change those knobs? No, they can change the sound too much. I've got to stick with this now. Okay, that sound is not that inspiring, but, well, we'll see. Feels more like a pad than a lead, doesn't it, that? It's interesting, though, that random thing is... There's quite a lot of stuff going on in there. Yeah, it's really curious what's going on in what maths or how that algorithm works. Okay. I like this sound. Okay, that sound is... Oh, so I think the modulation always does the same, does it? Yeah, it's just acting like a pitch. See, the distortion on this one, that's really nice. This kind of got a really... It's got really nice kind of juiciness to the distortion. But this distortion, though... that's cool, though. They maybe can work together then. Oh, they sound nasty, don't they, though? Just reaching for a bit of filter on would be great. Okay. Now this one... Oops. Turn the arp off. Ha. Okay. Not the most useful sound. Okay, so my favourite sound here. Yeah, let's get something moving on this then. No metronome at all. Okay, and we're off. Oh dear. Terrible. Well, it was a something. It was a something. Yeah, it's kind of cool though. I think I know other things have done something similar, but just having them in categories and just being able to spurt through the categories. Okay, so this little thing, this rather racy little number. Let's swap out the sounds then. Let's just... have I done all the tracks? No. I got one track left to do. Oh, I don't know what's on it. Actually, let's transition this into like a major for fun. Enough. Sinister Electro Weasel. Yeah, that was exactly what that was. But I do often, if I need a starting point, personally, a lot of the time I do need a starting point. So that's an attractive feature to me. And there is this cool feature in the Electron analog ranges as well. Well, actually, all their ranges allow a certain amount of this, but the way it does it on the Electrons is cool. And I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of Electron-related stuff soon. So if you're into electrons, Electron stuff, stay tuned because, yeah, this stuff here, it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind. I think. Again, I was talking earlier on about how just getting utterly lost in some musical craziness where you've built this thing up and you've got some control and you lose a bit of control of it, and it's that area, isn't it, where you're walking on the edge and just toppling over a little bit, but just about. That's where the good stuff is. That's the danger zone. That's where you've got to go to find the real stuff. You know, the stuff that is in all walks of life, in everything, isn't it? The stuff that's from the edge. Yeah. Oh, Pork Ticket concept album on the way. Now, I'm so sorry that we had our first Pork Ticket session in a good few years booked for last Sunday, and the Cardiff lockdown meant that Sebastian Goldfinch, him, the other part of Pork Ticket, he couldn't make it. Lockdown. Because we were going to put it together, ready. So sadly, that will have to wait. I'm really looking forward to that stuff coming out, because it really is pretty horrible, you know. But people do seem to like it, you know. But, you know, it's strange music. You know, as I say, Pork Ticket's kind of raison d'etre is to disappoint at every possibility, you know. Right, what else have I got here? I've got a Medusa here to my left, and that Medusa is going out through a couple of very tasty pedals, and then that's going into the 707. So we can set up the 707, a track on the 707 then, to be like a loop track where we can just immediately record some audio in. This is the limited area here. This is where you run out of time really quickly, because it'd just be great if you could just stream to the card a big long jam. Like Roland would say, well, look, we've just given you class compliant. If you want to record it, just plug it into your phone or iPad and press record on there. Not a bad idea. I could do that into AUM as well. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Nice update, though, you see. The promise of the iPad was kind of let down in some respects by the lack of class compliant devices. If class compliancy had been sort of the norm from 2010 onwards, I think it would, I think the iPads would have been just so much better. There was a lot of fuss, wasn't there, in the early years of the iPad, because Apple launched the iPad 1, and it's this revolutionary device. And then really soon after the iPad 1, they launched the iPad 2, which has got, even though it's the same dimensions, it's got a radically different form factor with this curved back, and the manufacturers who are all trying to make like bespoke musical things for them, they have to put like plastic adapters in, and I think it would cause a lot of people a lot of heartache, I think, and headaches rather than heartaches, probably some heartaches as well. Apple, no, but I mean, it was a very interesting time, and that's why Nick Batt asked me to kind of co-present Sonic Touch with him, which was to essentially chart the usefulness of iPads as musical devices, and which they unquestionably are, but it's the way they interface with other things has always been a contentious issue. And nowadays, because this iPad now I've had for 7 years, I think, something like that, I've got low expectations of it, but it just performs utility functions in my little studio. So for instance, this control app for the Eventide pedal, you know, it makes the Eventide pedal just super deluxe, really, because sorry, I keep turning that away. A bunch of the algorithms, let's have a look. Let's see if I can remember which ones do. They have a screen, they have sort of separate screens. Well, in this case, this one has like pedal view, and that was not a good one. I'll find a better one. Some of the pitch ones. Maybe the armadillo. Yeah. So you can see there that you can swap it between the pedal view. That's what most things look like on it. Or when some of the algorithms have some interesting layouts. So just to explain, in case I've been a bit vague, that's controlling this effects unit. Nothing to do with the sound, just purely a wireless control surface. Because as you can see, this one only really has one main dial that you can operate with. You can navigate the H9. It is quite a clever. It is a clever interface on it, but in the heat of the battle, you don't want to be having to page through things. But anyway, let me get a sound up, and then we'll get into this here now. Okay, excellent. So we'll have a little play with this armadillo algorithm from Eventide. So the sound, I'm going to use the Medusa in a very simple way. Bless it. It's amazing. This is a synth, and I think many people who've got these are finding it's like it's one for the long run, because it's such a unique instrument. It's one of the most unique instruments that's come out in the last, I would say, 3 years. I think it's, in terms of it being a genuine new thing. You know, people who are moaning about too many clones or whatever, the Medusa represents, I think, some of the most curious and forward-thinking, and I mean, a lot of that is down to Polyend rather than Dreadbox. Dreadbox absolutely are. I mean, Dreadbox, my favourite synth company, really. They supplied an analog synth to Polyend, who then built this whole thing around it, and fused an analog synth with a digital synth, and Polyend have created this digital synth. I've made some videos about this. There's plenty of other ones out there as well, but it's still, I find it really quite an inspiring synth. You do need to have effects with it though, because it's a monophonic sound with no effects built in, so a few effects and it takes you over the moon. You know, it's beautiful, because you can go on this, for instance. I'm just going to create a patch from scratch. Okay, glorious. Right, let's get some more volume, I think. I'll tell you what we'll do just for a moment, just to introduce the effect that we've got on here. This is Armadillo, which is like a harmonizing tremolo thing from Eventide. So our most basic sound, filter, wide open, no res, just a single sawtooth. Then let's switch it in. Oh, hang on. What's this bouncing ball? Oh, do you know what? I'm being a bit of a fool. This is a tremolo that I thought it was one of the pitch ones. Sorry, ignore me there. I was kind of showing that more because I had a nice secondary screen. Yeah. So the pitch stuff is kind of what I wanted to do with the Eventide more, really. Harmodulator. Let's try some of these now. A lot of these Eventide algorithms, they've been around for a long time in the Eventide stable, but have always been so out of reach of the average person, like myself, who can never afford the high-end studio stuff. We used to drool about owning Eventide. So one of the things that's amazing about the H9 is, in many ways, is a best of Eventide, really, up until a point. You know, Eventide. They do have incredible current gen stuff as well. But I mean, I think, well, actually, let's do that. Let's go back in time. The first Eventide product ever was the H910, and there's one. That algorithm is kind of in here. It's not that interesting for you to see. I'll put it a bit more like that. Okay. 1984 legs. So there's Van Halen, I think, isn't it? And Panama. So that was 3-octave range. So that was probably all such a big deal back. I can't remember what year it is. I thought it was late 70s. It's weird. There, see, so Country Slap. Let me go back to that one. I think some of these sounds were just used fat. So it must have been, I think they were digital algorithms. I think it was always a digital algorithm in the H910. I'm sure someone in the chat room could correct me on this one. I think they were early. I think they were always digital. I think this 910 is the original ones. That's right, because you have got a parameter modern, and then you can go back to, I think there's the different iterations of it. That's right, it has got them built in. So that's the first algorithm. Second. Third. And then pretty subtle in that case. I think it would be much more obvious if we had like a more interesting sound, or a guitar or a voice or something going through it. However, but it's interesting. It's almost like Eventide's heritage is in that effect, and I think everybody was looking to try and make their sounds really broad and big. I think it does some cool things with stereo stuff. Sorry, getting carried away there. Where was I? Oh yeah, H9. Yeah, and the 910. I'm demonstrating entirely the wrong thing. I should be putting much more, I think much more interesting things through there. I wanted to do stuff actually with more some of these pitch things that it can do. It's really fun to do with monophonic synthesizers. I don't remember which one it is. Quadrox, I think, is a pretty cool one. I played the right synth. Okay, so I can learn. Yeah. Nice. Like Eventide, when they released this pedal, you could buy it with like a standard price, which came with a selection of algorithms, or you could, a little bit later, then they released it so you could buy it like with no algorithms apart from the H910 one, and then you could buy whichever algorithms that you wanted from the whole collection, or you could get the max, which is what I chose to do, which was basically all of the existing range plus any new ones that ever come out for that platform. And that has been really good fun, and I'm sure people who've gone the max way have enjoyed that, because every time there is a new release for it, you just have it for free. It feels good. Well, I say for free, it wasn't cheap. It certainly wasn't cheap, but it's been, it's almost the gift that keeps giving. You just keep getting extras from it, which are really cool. The hot saws, which, I wonder what that'll sound like if I put a synth through it. It is a kind of synth generator. It's good. It does sound good. I've used it a lot with the Pop Dungeon, with Charlotte Church Pop Dungeon. Really dirty, big, fat bass sounds. Actually, I was using the Strymon. I'll turn the Strymon off. I'll turn the Strymon off for now, just because, just to let the focus of the sound. Wow, we've got more sound. Let's get more volume. Oh, hang on. What sound am I hearing? Of course, we were hearing. Yeah, so that was a synth that it had turned. So it had turned this sound into. We've got to level up a bit on that. Oh, well, that answers that if you ever wondered. But that, if you plug guitars and basses through, is surprisingly good. It's well worth exploring hot saws. But that one came out as a sort of separate algorithm. So yeah, it's cool. On this screen, the different colours refer to the different pedals that the algorithms that also exist in. So there's the blue one, the time factor is delay. The green, mod factor, modulation, and then the red is pitch factor, or pitch related stuff, and then this dark one, it's just like black colour, is space, which is your reverbs, including the legendary black hole. That's become so famous now, hasn't it, as an effect? But wow, what an effect it is, though. It still sounds great, doesn't it? Let's go in deep. Let's go in deep. It's just always fun, Black Hole. But you can buy it for everything now. You can get it just as an iOS plugin. That Black Hole algorithm. So what's that? I don't know how much that is. It's probably about like 12 or 13 quid or something. Which is pretty cool, really. To have a proper Eventide legendary effect. Right, where are we now? How are we doing? I think it's time I should give. Let's have a look. How are we doing, guys? Is this going all right? I hope you're all enjoying it. I might have another go at making another set of random sounds as well. Perhaps something maybe with the drum sounds. I think that would be cool. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Oh, but before I do that, I was going to play this sound that I created, this little thing, and just change all of the sounds. Let's do that first. Could actually create some beats over the top of that. That would make sense. Let's have a listen and remind ourselves of what kind of terrible nonsense we did earlier. I don't know what was going on. Let me build it back up again. That was horrific. Here we go. Okay. That mod. I'm going to set them all to mods. Okay. Let's just drown them out. Let's drown them in reverb now. That wasn't reverb. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna bring in a drum now. Let's do another one on here. Doing a kick now. Let's put one. Let's go 4 on the floor. Let's just do it. Let's put a 4 on the floor. If I can remember. Oh, I know what I've done. That's a looper track. Put it on. Oh, let's swap this track over now. Random kick. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I like that. Okay. What's going on here? Let's take cymbal. Let's make that sound a bit more interesting. Wow, okay. What's going on? Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I'm going to stop it for a moment. My brain's gone. Hang on. I've not actually tried. That's the first time I've actually tried to random. I haven't done any of the drum sounds other than the cowbell before. So again, I think you would probably want to. You'd probably want to go through quite a few of them before. You have got a lot of memory, so you can save lots of patches. So if you like them but are not sure, you can save them. I guess there is the danger with things like this of just, you might have just come up with this beautiful sound and then you just go, oh, one more, and then boom, it's obliterated and there's no going back. So use that function with care. How are we doing? Yeah. Yeah, I was mentioning on Sonic Talk earlier, my OP1's keys have become sort of discoloured. I've tried to clean it with some like alcohol wipes, I think, or, well, did I use them? Or I can't remember. I used some things that was recommended for it, but I just think it's some sort of like aging process that some plastics do. Only recently has it started to do it. I mean, it used to be. Oh, you're not going to see under. I wonder if I can do it on this other camera. Can't really tell too much, but yeah, you can there. It's meant to be the same color as the outside. So yeah, it's like a yellowed tint to it. I kind of like it as well, in a way, because it kind of, rather than it being this spick and span thing of the future, it's like a, it's a gnarly used tool. I've had this for 7 years, I think, and it's had a hell of a lot of use. It's been a lot of places. My goodness, jeepers! I did break it once on stage. The video's on YouTube as well. There's a panel on the back here. You can't. You can just about see it there. And lurking under there is the soundboard. Where the jack sockets and various things live. That broke because those little mini jacks, they can be a nightmare for live stuff. Little bit of movement and it just lifts it off the circuit board. And I always wanted someone to design a 3-socket, something that could take the USB, the audio input and the audio output all in one socket to click in, ka-chunk, so that the 3 of them would sort of all conspire together to try and give it some kind of, some latch. However, an undeniable classic, an undeniable classic of the music technology era. The music technology era. It's always been the music technology era of some form, I guess. Anyway, right. I think I'm waffling, and I think I probably should be looking to come to an end. I'd like to thank everybody for joining in. Did I have any other things to say about some of the updates on here? That's the main one. So really, the fact it gets an arpeggiator, the class compliant audio interface, which, yes, sample to your heart's content, gorge yourselves on samples directly, get the adapter that you need to your Android phone or whatever, class compliant interface. Certainly Clagnets to the Apple stuff, to the Apple world. Soon not. iPhone next one maybe will have USB-C on it, and that'll be super interesting, really, won't it, for music technology developers, because then it's just such a simple proposition of you got your phone and your standard cable and you're in, and be gone the Clagnet, be gone. Yes, I have had some Clagnet-free life with my iPad Pro, which has been showing a glimpse to the future of a world free of the Clagnet. So that's, so things like class-compliant audio interfaces are all the more, desired for a Clagnet-free world. For a Clagnet-free world we live in. It's all these songs of the future. They're going to be joyous. Right. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been a bit of a kind of mishmash of things. If you've come here specifically for the 707, hard luck. if you're a regular, thank you very much for coming back. And I probably should say to people to, subscribe and click the bell and all that kind of stuff, but I really find that really irritating. So I apologize for even saying it then. I won't say it generally anyway. And, but yeah, so, there is big news. Big news in my little world. I've got a delivery coming this week of 2 6U rack brutes. Yes, the Eurorack is expanding and is now got a new place. I'm so super thrilled where it goes now. It's got its own home. Both of them be side by side. It's going to create a new little stage for my new Eurorack show, which I will be launching soon once I've got all of that set up. But I made the decision to go for rack brutes again, as I've expanded it, because I love the way that and I've got gig bags coming for it. So I love the idea that both racks can pack down into 2 carry bags, because, you know, I've got to have things to look forward to and believe that there is this world post-pandemic where I can travel, have Eurorack will travel. You know, I'm ready. I want to go out and I want to do stuff and have adventures, and, you know, with the amazing tools that they are. But I'm super pleased they've got somewhere new and amazingly comfortable. I am beyond happy about that. So that's my big news, and I hope you don't mind me sharing that, because I'm, you know, I think like all of us, you know, we just need little things to keep us sort of trucking along. And, you know, when the going gets tough, just thinking about that delivery of something coming, or, you know, or just thinking about something that you're getting in the future, or like when a new update comes out or something, and it's exciting. It's exciting to kind of rush home to try out a new update, for instance. Well, it is for me, and I know some other people find that exciting too. And you know, so maybe some people, cynical people, might say, "Oh, get a life," or whatever. You know, getting all kind of worked up about our software, getting all really worked up about some software update. To that person, I say, be quiet. This is something I really enjoy. And yeah, the Electron updates are wonderful, super cool. There is something which I couldn't believe, actually, that it wasn't there in the beginning. I was always hunting around for it. I was searching the manual. I thought maybe I haven't got the right term for it, but that's basically trig preview, which means that any recorded trig on the trig keys, you can hold it down, and then you hit function, and it'll play that sound, including all of the parameter locks. And that's why it's important, because you can lock in so many changes to that sound per step. But the only way that you could ever hear it is by playing the track. And it can be really frustrating, you know, when you're doing stuff with maybe 4 pages, you know, 64 steps. But now that means, in a way as well, it means you can play the sequence like an instrument. You can, well, you have to be holding on a function button down, but then you can fire the trigs, and then they'll play with all of the, you know, with all the good stuff going on. But that was a free update, and something that was, you know, most welcome, especially for my beloved Analog 4 Mark 1. That's the one I typically take with me around on things, because this rig is all my MIDI bass rig, of which there will be my new series. That is something, it's been a long time coming, but that will be coming at some point. But for Electron to have updated the Analog 4 and kept that one in, you know, it shows how much they actually respect not just their customers but their own products, you know, that they clearly care for them. They want them, you know. So it doesn't gain the class compliant audio interface, the Mark 1, which presumably there's a new thing in the Mark 2. They are quite different things, even though ostensibly are the same. The experience of using them feels quite different. The buttons, the click, the kind of the layout, some of the shortcuts, you have to change your mind and set a little bit when you go from one to the other. However, the updates that does get is like trig conditions. Well, it had trig conditions before where you could program trig conditions in, but it becomes just like a knob that affects all the steps. So whatever sequence you've got running, you can just essentially turn that knob to the left, and it'll just randomly take notes out of the sequences. I can imagine that across all your 4 sequences being hugely, in fact, map that to a macro, so you're affecting all the tracks at once. And then if you turn it all the way to the left, it's a trick that Cenk taught me. You turn the trig probability all the way to the left. It's like a mute. It's like it becomes like a really cool way just to turn the track off. You just basically mean that all steps have zero chance of playing. So it's really, that's cool. So yes, so that, for Electron type folks, I think that was a really exciting update, really. And on that note, I'm going to go, because I do need to do some other things. I've got some other work that I need to finish tonight. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will be back next week. And I do still have these great guests. You have seen that I have had great guests, so you know that this isn't fibbage. There is proper quality guests, and we're just scheduling issues, darling, but they are coming. They've all committed, and I'm chasing them up. They will be along soon. So this Wednesday show, I think as time goes by, I'll see if it forms into something. I quite like a kind of loose format that I kind of decide relatively late in the day of what I'm going to do, unless I've got a guest in the diary, of course. But Monday night, I'm considering going Monday night after got some good advice from Inky. So thank you for that, suggesting that's a good time to do a modular kind of thing. So that's going to happen. But I've got this new thing coming. I've got a few things to set up and various things. So that will probably be a few weeks away from now. But I'm really looking forward to getting back onto that Eurorack little thing, because it is a complete voyage of discovery for me, and sharing that. And being able to interact with, quality people like Finlay Shakespeare, for instance, and Steve Davis, good old Steve Davis. I tell you what, he's got a good old noggin. I've learned a lot from him. Yeah, Steve's great. He makes good music. He's quality guy. Of course, was a guest on the show, the second show. First show's guest was Lisa Belladonna, who was just then involved in the new Moog Black Edition launch for the Grandmother and the Matriarch, which, I'm a bit ambivalent about. I think I prefer the originals, but I think it's good. If more people buy them, that's cool. Anyway, I am repeating things that we talked about on Sonic Talk earlier. Check out Sonic Talk if you haven't already. That was a great show today. I really enjoyed it. Mylar Melodies joined us, which was nice, and Robbie Bronneman. And Robbie has got a new EP coming out that he's worked really hard on. In fact, he's put together a very specific rig specifically for making this EP. I won't talk about that. That's for him to tell you all about. But it is great, though. It's really good music. And he's launching that under his new name, which is called Delta R. No, Delta B. It's Delta B. But it's Delta with an R on the end. So Delta B. And that's going to come out on BT's label. So Robbie's really excited about that. Yeah. Okay, thanks everybody. I will see you all soon, and take care, and yeah, big love. Hey.